So I just saw this trend, wanting people to post what the average 50-year-old looks like. Well, I'm 52 and I'm not sure if I'm average, but this is no makeup.
Well, this is 52.
Well, this is 50, you guys. I am 54 years old.
Do you think black people and white people look at aging very differently?
Older black women love to say, I don't look my age. And I'm like, well, you do look your age. I think it's a cultural myth we like to tell ourselves that, like, well, we're not like white people.
A lot of black women don't agree. And to be honest, the science doesn't agree either. A multinational study found that more than 30% of black women did not report moderate to severe aging until the age of 60 to 79, compared to the ages of 40 and 59 in Caucasian women. So yeah, black doesn't crack. But of course, black women do age, but in a completely different way. One study found that the biggest concern that they had was with pigmentation, not really wrinkles. Plus, the one thing that's going to happen to all of us, whatever our skin tone, is bone reabsorption and general volume loss in your face. If you really want to age gracefully as a black woman, you need to start using retinols, you need to start using tyrosinase inhibitors, and if you want to take it a step further, start doing beauty treatments that will increase the amount of collagen that you have in your face, like microneedling. And most importantly, wear your sunscreen every damn day, and you will age as gracefully as your mom and your grandma did.
The reason black people, part of it why they don't age, in America we say black don't crack. You'll see like women are 65 look great. They got a lot of melanin in the skin, and sun damage messes people up. You know, Sweden has the most beautiful younger women, but a lot of times when they're older, I'm like, what the fuck happened? And they go all summer to Greece with their pale skin, and they're like, I'm like, don't do it. At least don't do that on the face, please.
The visible signs of aging look different in melanin-rich skin. That's because your melanin protects against collagen degradation caused by the sun. This means that wrinkling shows up way later in life. However, what you'll start to notice in your 40s is uneven skin tone and dullness. And in your 50s, you might start to notice some sagging and a rougher skin texture. These changes are mainly due to sun damage and because your skin cell turnover rate slows as you get older.
Why does the black skin seem to not age as fast as the white skin? What is happening where melanin is concerned?
Okay, internally, I can explain it in two ways. Internally, there are some things that are going on, and externally, there are some things that are going on. Internally, there are lots of free radicals that are produced, or charged particles, as a result of regular body metabolism. And the body has to have a way to get rid of that excess energy or this runaway energy. And if it's not gotten rid of, then it will tear up all those other systems that it is around. Externally, we got radiation from the sun, electromagnetic radiation from computers, radar, microwave, all of this high-tech type of energy that is coming in contact with us, as well as natural energy. Now this energy attacked the proteins, and it just so happened that the protein, being a polyamino acid, has a nitrogen group in it that loves to absorb around, say, 260. Now if you don't have anything there to protect that protein from that UV light that's coming in, and that's going to absorb that 260, then that protein is just going to split up and break down back into the small components that it was made. Therefore, you get cancer, lots of other diseases started, you know, deterioration of the brain, some things like Alzheimer's disease and that sort of thing.
Can someone explain to me why aging is the worst thing in the world for white people? Maybe it's the African in me, but like aging isn't really seen as like the worst thing in the world for like being African. In our culture, we kind of embrace age. Like it's not seen as something so humiliating and embarrassing. Like I remember going over to a white family's house and I was young and I didn't even know it was inappropriate, but I asked like the older woman, like, how old are you? Because I was literally 8. And that was like a conversation starter when you're 8. And I remember being so chastised and be like, oh my God, that is so inappropriate to ask. And I'm just like, why is that so bad? Like, why is aging so bad? Why is you getting a wrinkle or two bad? Why is a facelift like the norm? Like, you do what you want with your body and everything. But like, I used to work at this frozen yogurt shop in Buckhead. And let me tell you, aging was seen as so bad. Like, as soon as people would walk in, it was like a fresh facelift at the age of like 40 or something. And you know what? Do what you want. But like, I just don't understand why white people view aging as like the worst thing in the world. Can someone please explain this?
By their mid-30s, Black women's bodies show physiological markers equivalent to white women significantly older. This has a name. It changes everything. What is weathering? The research on why Black women's bodies age faster and what to do about it. I'm not talking about black don't crack. I'm talking about physiologically why this happens.
There are a whole lot of people on TikTok right now. They are talking about how the blacks age slower than the whites, and I have to make some research to back up some things and also to read it out for you all. And I have my phone here with me, and I say, let me share this with you guys. You all have heard what some of the people, their opinions and their take regarding the whole issue, regarding their own stand and what they think actually. Here, the number one thing is more melanin protects against sun damage. One thing is this sun, going out, you won't say you won't go out, but going out under the skin, it damages the skin. But as a black, with that melanin pigment, it gives your skin an extra protection. It gives your skin an extra, protection against the harmful ultraviolet rays. You understand? Another thing is thicker dermis and collagen structure, which you cannot find in a lighter skin. More compact collagen fibers and a slightly thicker dermis. That is the deeper layer of the skin. As a black, you have that, but as a white, they hardly have that in them. So I think that is one of also a reason that makes the blacks to age slower. That's why when you see an aged man of 70 years and an aged white man of 70 and an aged black man of 70, the black man tends to look more younger. You understand? So I think that is one of the reasons. But keep watching, guys.
We all inherently know that skin of color ages better than fairer skin types. But there was a very interesting study that was done recently of over 3,000 women. And it asked these women to state the age where they first started seeing severe signs of skin aging. Black women didn't start to see it until their 60s to 70s. White women started to see it in their 40s, and Hispanics and Asian women started to see it in their 50s. And while we all understand that, thinking about the people that we know that fall into these demographic groups and who's aged more slowly, there is a lot of science behind it. And first and foremost, it has to do with the melanin that people like me who are skin of color create. First off, it's called eumelanin. It's a brownish pigment, and the benefit in skin of color is that brown eumelanin pigment lives throughout the entire epidermis, versus someone who is just fair pheomelanin. That pigment only lives at the base layer of the epidermis. The big difference between the two is the internal SPF that pervasive eumelanin gives me is 13.4, whereas the internal SPF of someone who is fair-skinned is only 3.4. It's a huge difference because I don't get severe sun reactions when I'm out in the sun. I have some more internal SPF than someone who is more fair skin. That internal SPF of someone who's more fair skinned doesn't give them a lot of protection. That's why that person burns much more easily. That's why you're going to see wrinkles on that person much more easily. Second important difference is this idea of dermal volume loss, which is what gives folds, creases in the skin. That happens much more slowly in skin of color, and the rationale is our fibroblasts are more in quantity, in number, and in quality. They just make stronger, better collagen. And radiofrequency microneedling studies done in skin of color patients like me have shown that we respond better to that treatment modality because we make better collagen. It does have a flip side though. When you see a keloid in someone, most likely they are going to be skin of color because our fibroblasts are so much more hyperreactive. So there's a plus and a minus to it, but the rationale as to why skin of color patients age more slowly has to do with our internal SPF and our ability to make stronger collagen.
Okay, so there is a term in public health research for what racism does to the black female body over time, and it's called weathering. And once you understand it, it's kind of hard to unsee. So in the early 1990s, public health researcher Arlene Geronimus proposed something that sort of challenged everything that the medical establishment assumed about black health outcomes. She argues that the biological health of black women begins to deteriorate earlier than that of white women, and that the cause isn't genetics, or it's not culture or personal behavior. It's this cumulative physiological cost of living in a society that treats you as less valuable. She called it weathering. The mechanism is chronic stress activation. So like when the body perceives threat consistently over years and decades, discrimination at work, hypervigilance in public spaces, navigating institutions that were never designed for you, and absorbing microaggressions while performing composure. These things pay a biological price. There's cortisol dysregulation, accelerated cellular aging that's measurable at the chromosome level. There's elevated inflammation, cardiovascular strain. Why black women in their 30s show biological markers more consistent with white women in their 40s. This is why black maternal mortality rates are what they are. Educated, middle-class black women don't get to escape this either. The research shows that higher socioeconomic status doesn't protect black women from weathering the way it protects white women. So the stressor isn't poverty, it's racism. The body tends to age under the weight of what it is forced to carry. And it carries that weight regardless of income, education, or professional achievement. So weathering's not a metaphor. It's sort of this, it's this biological finding with a political cause. So let me ask this now. What would it mean for healthcare policy and community to take seriously the idea that racism itself is a public health crisis?
Another thing that we should not dispute is the fact that stress can make one to look older. Yes, if you stress yourself so much, you look older, whether white or black. Let's balance the whole equation, whether white or black. If you stress yourself so much, you tend to look more older, you tend to look more, whether you are a white or black. So that is the more reason stress is one factor that makes people to age faster. You understand? So there are a whole lot of things, and I give special credit to all the original owners of this video using the creation of this video is solely for educational purposes and for analysis. Okay. Now there are also some things here that I want to share with you. Oh, someone said wrinkles often appear later. Yes, white individuals often develop fine wrinkles in their 30s and 40s. Black individuals frequently develop noticeable wrinkles between 10 to 20 years later, although aging eventually occurs in everyone. Like I said earlier, everybody is going to age. That is the prayer of everyone. You are not going to be young forever. You are not going to be young forever.
So this was a comment that was left on one of my Instagram videos. It reads, "Black skin is definitely thicker than white. I'm a nurse and give injections every day. You can feel the difference as the needle goes in. This is also why black people age way better." First of all, that's false. There is no difference in skin thickness based on your race. Just because you have black skin does not mean you have thicker skin. But what scares me the most is that these types of thoughts by healthcare professionals still exist, and they impact the way that patients get treated.
Now, let's summarize this all. Does this mean black people live longer? No. Skin aging and biological aging are different. Overall lifespan depends on genetics, diet, exercise, smoking, alcohol, stress, like I said earlier, access to healthcare, and chronic diseases. There are some people that will be sick, they cannot access the hospital, they cannot access the healthcare. There are some people that can access. Those people that can easily access the healthcare, they tend to get help easily, they tend to get healthcare easily, unlike the ones that cannot get access to the hospital easily. So between these two people, if the person that gets to the healthcare easily and faster gets cured or gets healed, you won't say that he or she has the tendency of not aging or has the tendency of not dying. No. So in all these things, let's balance the equation whenever we talk. So guys, share in your views in the comment section. Subscribe to this channel, like and share. See you all in the next video.